Hey everyone, welcome to Alice is Missing on Mythic Journeys. Julia is the secret girlfriend. I'll let you decide how secret that is. Are the two of you out to us, out to school, and it's just a secret from your family? Or out to family, and it's just a secret from the school?
So I
Uh,
think Julia is she's kind of like the quote unquote opposite of Dakota. So she was really good friends with Alice when they were younger. They actually live on the same street, but as kids grow, um, they find different interests, so to speak. So Julia's more of like that sporty personality. She plays softball. She's not like a jock like with the cheerleaders and the football people. Like she's not that cool. Um, but she's not. She's a little too cool to fit in with the skater friends. But she really enjoys being Alice's friend and holding on to that kind of foundational friendship that they had when they were younger. Living on the same street, they maintained a unique kind of friendship. I always feel like you're really good friends with your neighbors or something when you're kids because it's like how you play. When you're little, Julia kind of confessed to Alice, like right at the beginning of high school, that she really liked her more than a friend. And, even though they weren't super close anymore, like she really misses her and wishes they were closer. So Alice has tried to bring her, work on that relationship a little bit more. Julia's parents, they're cool, they're progressive, they're not like weird or judgy or anything, but it's just a weird thing to be a high schooler and try to navigate your identity. So Julia's very choosy about who she is out to, and she's very protective of that. So things she hasn't quite really told you guys that she's dating Alice in some capacity. You guys know that like Julia hasn't had a boyfriend. Maybe y'all have your suspicions, but otherwise she's trying to keep it on the down low.
okay. When you told Alice your feelings about her, what was her response? And when did you two actually start going out, however that looks?
Yeah, so it was like kind of the summer before freshman year of high school. Because we're juniors, right? Sophomores.
Sophomore?
So it's been about a year and a half ish since I told Alice how I was feeling. I think at first Alice was like, okay, like I don't know. Like thank you so much for trusting me and telling me, but like I don't know if I feel the same. She did kind of tell Julia that, she did miss being friends with her, like how they were when they were younger. So, she did want to work on that friendship again, but, she was really unsure about kind of quote unquote starting a relationship or dating or being out or anything like that. I think it's, I think Julia is maybe more attached to that label than Alice is. Wasn't one of the characters potentially her ex-boyfriend, so there was like some tension with that. But yeah, I think
What
Julie is also probably just as like confused. Maybe she's just in denial about the situation. This is Julia's first real relationship. Not only is that hard to navigate, but she's also like trying to keep it secret because she's queer, and that's hard when you're 15 years old.
Yeah.
What was the instance with the ex?
So I guess Julia knows what happened because she was hanging out on her front porch one day and Alice kind of walked by and Julia tried to get her attention and Alice was really upset. And so Julia ran down the street to catch her and was like, hey, what's going on? And she was like, we just got in a big fight. I think we're just going to have to break up. But Julia kind of took that as her opportunity to be, a good shoulder to cry on for her and maybe show up for Alice in a way that people haven't shown up for Alice in a minute. This is like Julia's olive branch to Alice. And I'd say that was probably 3 3 months, middle of the summer before high school. So it would have been before Julia had her confession to Alice.
Richard, do you have a question for Julia?
Julia, what did you and Alice most like doing together? Seeing as everything you did together that was really going to be, I mean, your best time has to be kept away from all of us, everyone. So, what did you do together?
We have in my backyard, my family has like, one of those kids tree houses that you outgrow when you're like in middle school. But, we live on the same street, so, if we're all hanging out together in a group and we're all leaving, Alice and I would walk home together, and, maybe she would just come to my house for 30 minutes to an hour, or, she knows the gate code to get into the backyard. So sometimes we just text each other secretly and we're like, meet you at the tree house. It's really more of like emotional, like psychological relationship versus like hot and heavy physical.
Sure, I don't mean anything like that. I'm not trying to pry about that. I was just like, I mean, from my point of view as Dakota, I knew Alice as being someone who, I mean, we did stuff. We were active. I can't imagine her having a quiet side that she just sits with someone and they just quietly talk to each other by a fire or something. That's crazy. What kind of person brings that out? And this is Alice. This is Alice, dude. Alice isn't like
You know,
that.
like, like that's where like Julia and Alice are really different because Julia's like really in sports. I'm like, not to say that skating isn't a sport, because it is, but
Totally a
it's a
sport.
different kind of vibe.
Yeah, yeah. Skating is about individuals. We're not all on a team.
No referee, no
Yeah,
captain.
no rules.
Yeah.
Actually, I had one more question. From the perspective of Alice, how do you think in the perspective of Julia, how do you think Alice would feel about her relationship coming to light? Like, how do you think she might deal with that?
So, like I mentioned, Julia's definitely a little bit more attached to the idea of quote unquote being in a relationship than Alice is. So, I think Julia would be excited if Alice acknowledged that relationship, whether or not it was out publicly, but like any kind of little morsel that Alice gives to Julia of like acknowledgement, like she really latches onto that. She's like, okay, like I'm not the only one feeling this, whether or not, you're 100% in it, if, as long as you acknowledge it, yes, I feel something, then Julia's excited about that. So I think she would be nervous for it to come out because that's a big thing to reveal about yourself to anyone, let alone your whole community of school peers and parents and whoever else, sports community. If it was going to come out and Alice was going to acknowledge it, Julia would be very happy about that.
Okay, let's hear a bit of Jack, the older brother.